All right, guys, this is Jay, and it is December the 13th, Friday the 13th of 2024. And I'm going to show you guys why I make up these sugar cubes. Some of my bees have already eaten through their mountain camps. So I've had to make sugar blocks to put back on some of them. And I'm going to turn this around. All right, so you can see that on the inside of these frames here, there's capped honey still, but they've moved up and they've eaten some of the sugar in the top. So what we're going to do, come on, little beekeeper. Let's see if she can see some bees. They're pretty calm today. You want to see the bees? We're doing mountain camps and our bees are adding sugar back. Look at those bees. You see them? Huh? You see those bees? Yeah. Take her out. All right, we're going to put some sugar on top of these bees. I've got these sugar blocks that I've made. And I'm going to use one of the bigger ones on them. We'll put that one there. I've got these already made on the newspaper so the sugar doesn't fall apart on me. And we're just going to take the sugar out. These bees are all bees that I knocked off of the other box. This is actually where the cluster is. It's located here on the front edge. These are just extra bees that got knocked off of the box I took off because I had an extra box on there. Can you hold this phone for a second, Mommy? Just like that. And these sugar blocks, they're not all the way solid, but they're solid enough that the sugar's not going to crumble and fall through the frames. And we're just kind of going to lay it in there. Move the bees down gently. Just like that. You can make this recipe a little bit thicker. I made this one 6-to-1. I'm going to try a 7-to-1, but it's still a little bit syrupy, which is fine.
Here.
And that's it. We're just gonna put the lid back on there and get them buttoned back up, and we'll check back in on them in a couple weeks to see if they need another one to get them through. They still have plenty of honey. I can see it on the frames. I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 frames that has honey in the comb. The ones on the outer edge are empty. There's 3 on the outer edges that are empty, but they still have plenty. They should be fine. We're going to button them up and do the rest of these bees today. See if they need any added on to them. Alright guys, I just want to show you guys something. You can see that some of my hives have 3 or 4 boxes on there, and we didn't actually pull our last honey harvest. We left it for the bees, and I didn't feed any sugar syrup. I fed 0 sugar syrup at the end of the year because I knew that they had so much honey. And just to give you guys an idea of how much and when to put sugar, most people have already put sugar on. I didn't do that with all of my bees. I did with some. But these, as you can see, this is a full box of honey, or what I would consider a full box of honey for the bees. Let me show you this. I'm going to break some of these loose here. See that? That's all still honey. And there's bees right there. But we're going to take this box off and I'm going to show you the cluster. Now, that would appear to not be a very large cluster. If you were just bee trying to sting me there in the arm. That would appear to not be a very large cluster, but they're still in the bottom, guys. Look at that. there's still plenty of bees in here. They're still in the bottom box. They still have plenty of honey. This box is solid full of honey. All right, guys, I want to show you something. I've collected these bees in a jar, and I just want to show you something about bees you might not have known before. We're going to take these bees in and we're going to do an experiment, and I'll get back to you. But we're going to finish putting some of the sugar on, the ones that need it, like these bees here. The ones in here, I don't think that they are going to need much sugar. You can see they're not into the top yet, but you get underneath. You can see underneath that cluster is about the size of a basketball or so. You can start to see them working into the bottom of this upper box, but you can also see that honey in there. But I'm still going to put a block on here just so they have, if they want it, they can use it, or if not, they don't have to. But we're going to keep on moving down the line until we get the rest of these bees. Just a quick inspection. It's 45 degrees today, so they're not breaking cluster very much, except for when I open the hive up. I'm trying to keep it open a bare minimum. The cold, it's a controversial thing, the cold. The cold don't actually kill the bees. It will kill brood. It will chill your brood and cause some issues with brood, but for the most part, it don't kill bees, and we're going to show you that. We're going to take some bees in and do an experiment with the bees I collected in this jar. See them moving around there. So let's get finished with this and then we'll get in the house. All right, guys, so I'm going to take these bees, I'm going to put them in the freezer, and we're going to come back and check on them. These bees aren't big enough to make a cluster in there, so we're going to come back and check on them in a minute to see what it looks like. All right, guys, so these are the bees that we put in the freezer, and we're gonna keep an eye on them to see if anything changes. They're all laying here. They've been frozen. Let's spread them out a little bit just to see. Not moving. So we're just gonna keep an eye on them and see how they react. All right, I moved the bees over into this container because I didn't want them doing what I knew they would do. You can see it's been about 5 minutes and they are starting to reanimate and crawl around. So bees, they don't have blood, they have hemolymph, and their blood doesn't freeze. So they can completely freeze up into a solid block of bees that appear to be dead, and when it warms back up, they start moving around again. They become animated again and start crawling back around.
Yay!